Hello everyone, welcome back to A. Marie Cards and welcome to our weekly reading for this last full week of March. Can you believe we are already at the end of March? It feels like it flew by. I'm actually in the midst of updating my altar and everything for springtime, but I wanted to get this in before I got, completely sucked up into doing all of that. I hope you guys have had a lovely month. I hope that it's been prosperous. I know we've had some interesting ups and downs this month as far as readings went. A lot of it mostly good. A couple of little warnings and heads up. So especially with some of the warnings that I saw last week, I hope you guys heeded them and I hope that things went well. So now we're getting our weekly reading for the collective for the last week of March. This will also most likely be the last time you see this deck, the Fairy Tarot. So next week it'll be a brand new Tarot deck. I'm in the process of picking out which deck that's going to be. All right. So we need March 23rd. I believe this is going to be the 29th. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope everyone is taking care of yourselves. I hope you're doing a lot to take self-care. I think that's very important right now in the midst of all of the upheaval and things going on in the world. I think self-care is extremely important. So what do we have this week for the collective for our 3-card reading? Let's see. I said at the beginning when I first started using this deck, but this is a very good deck to use if you're a beginner, because it actually gives kind of interpretations of the cards right on the cards. And so it can be a little bit easier for those who are just learning the tarot. Okay. First card come out is the Empress. If you're following the Major Arcana series, which I will be starting that back up in a bit. I took a break from it for a little bit just because there's been a lot going on. We did cover the Empress card, so I will be talking a bit about that in a second, kind of reviewing it. But we got the Empress card, so we got a Major Arcana card. 6 of Autumn. That corresponds with the 6 of Pentacles. And last but not least, final card of the 3 is actually another Major Arcana card, which is Strength. So we're going to read them first. First we have the Empress, and the Empress says, time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. Next is the 6 of Autumn, which corresponds to the 6 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. The good you do comes back to you, an unexpected inflow of money, borrowing wisely, or repaying a debt. And then, I think I already know what this is saying. And then the final card is the Strength card. The grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness, time to embrace how wonderful you are. Okay. So here's what's coming through like almost immediately as I was reading the 6 of Pentacles. Because this has to do with the financial and material world, and because this is the only minor arcana card that popped up, this seems to be the focus for this week. If you haven't started getting your financial house in order, now is the time to do it. This is kind of I'm almost getting the feeling of the breathing space. This is the sigh or the break or the time period to do it. That means getting all of your paperwork in order. That means figuring out, hey, what are my debts? What are the things that I owe? How do I set up a system to be able to handle that? If you haven't done your taxes, probably get on that. This seems to be kind of the week to start getting your financial house in order. That's the big thing that seems to be coming through. which ties into this card, which is saying time to take action. The Empress, if you remember, in the Rider-Waite deck, the original deck, and in most of the decks, it's a little hard to see with the light, but I'll bring it up a little bit closer so you can see. The Empress is usually a pregnant woman. And it kind of represents wanting to birth something new. As you see here, there are, looks like there's little ones there. Yeah. And so she's usually a pregnant woman, and she's birthing some new idea, some new concept, some new direction. In some very small cases, it may be a literal child. So for any of you who may be thinking about the idea of having a child, this is kind of saying, hey, this is the time to start getting your financial ducks in a row, so to speak, to figure out, hey, if we're going to have a child, if I'm going to have a child, how am I financially going to handle that? This is very much leaning on the material world side of things. So like I said, career, money, finances, and I'm getting strong finance energy from here. The Strength card is here to kind of remind you of that this is not going to be an easy task. You have everything that you need in order to be able to handle it. It's not going to be easy, but then, you know, looking at your debts, looking at, you know, your finances, budgeting, all those things, that's never fun. No one is like, yay, I get to do my taxes now. Like no one that I know at least thoroughly enjoys that process. Like no one, but they're saying, hey, it's time to do that. And I don't think this is just because, you know, tax due date is just around the corner in some weeks from now. This is bigger than that. That's one of the examples that popped in my head, but it's a little bigger than that. This is like getting your, literally, this house, this is like the fairies like little house. This is literally getting your entire financial house in order. And that if you do this, good things will come from it. Like it's going to be annoying. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to have to like look at the reality of your situation. It's like, huh, this is how it is, huh? Yes, this is how it is. And it's, and that's how it is, right? It is what it is. And by looking at that, by recognizing that you have the power to be able to take a hold of this situation and really, you know, get through it and get everything set up for yourself. This is setting you up for some really great things down the road. It really, really is. But now's the time to really get this in order. If you haven't started getting this in order, now's the time to kind of do this. This is kind of like the universe reminding you, hey, this is your end of the quarter, start of a new season. We are now in spring, you know, kind of reminder that, hey, spring cleaning doesn't just apply to your house. It also applies to your financial house. You know, get that in order. If you're thinking about doing anything really big, looking into buying a home, buying a car, and anything like that, they're saying, look at all the numbers first before you make any kind of decisions. For my astrology folks, we are still in Mercury retrograde until I think the second or third week in April. Astrology is not my strong point, but I do know that we're in Mercury retrograde right now. So this is not the time to make any final deals. This is the time to start sorting things out, though. This is the time to start lining things up so that when Mercury retrograde ends, then you have all the information that you need to make the right decisions and come out on top. The Empress pretty much says, you know, if you follow this, you're going to come out on top. The last line here says, success that allows for a life of luxury. Now, all of us have different ideas of what we think constitutes luxury. You know, for me, luxury is not a huge mansion with 50 rooms. To me, luxury is a nice, comfortable one-bedroom with, you know, all utilities included, a really nice, maybe a really nice view, and an island in the kitchen. That's my idea of luxury. So all of us have different ideas of what luxury may be, but this is what you have to do to set up for that kind of life. You have to get to the bare bones of what it is that you have, what it is that you don't have, and what it's going to take. You need a map. You need to create a map, and you can't do that until you assess what you already have. This is kind of tying into a lot of the themes that have been coming through for the past several weeks in these different readings, and even the themes of the videos that I did on the major arcana cards, where you're preparing yourself for, you know, your success. You're building a roadmap. This is just one of the parts of building the roadmap that's a little not as fun, not as woo-woo, not as spiritual, not as magical as the rest of the different aspects of it. And you know what? truth of the matter is we live in the physical realm. We got to deal with these things. So the good thing, though, is that this kind of bodes well. It's basically saying if you do it, then this should be fine. But you need to do it. So we have another week of the universe kind of not wagging their finger, not even warning. They're just saying, hey, just letting you know, while you're off in spiritual woo-woo land and while you're like, woo, remember, don't neglect the material world and the financial setup of your house. Make sure your financial house is in order. They're saying you're going to need that. That's going to come in real handy a little further down the line. You have the capability to do it. You can do this. You're going to, you know, everything you'll be lined up and ready to go if you do it. You just need to sit down and do it. Really straightforward message. They've been really straightforward the last like 2 weeks or so. There's been no, you know, you just need to believe. No. It's just been straight up, do this and things will be fine. Don't do this. You're going to make things a lot more difficult for yourself. So buckle down. I know, probably not the message a lot of you wanted to hear, but buckle down. Hey, this message is for me too. Buckle down, get your financial house in order. Now's the time to kind of do that and get everything set up and ready to go. All right. That is the reading for this week. Like I said, this is probably the last week that you see. This deck will be pulling down a brand new deck starting for the week of April, since April will be starting next week, the middle of next week, I believe. So we're getting a brand new deck. So this is the last time you'll be seeing the Fairy Tarot deck. I may pull them out later for, you know, something else, but this is the last time you'll see the Fairy Tarot deck. All right. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, help the channel with the algorithm. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Have a great last full week of March. All right. Be blessed. Bye.